But the Nigerian Senate voted Wednesday, that's the July the 26th, giving a nod to key amendments to different sections of the 1999 Constitution.
Now, adopting electronic voting on some 32 items listed for review, 86 senators said yes to a reduction in the age for aspirants for the presidency from 40 to 35.
But there were 10 noes and 1 abstention for that motion. Senators also voted for a reduction in ages for contestants for governorship and House of Representatives positions by 5 years each.
Now, the lawmakers rejected the 35% affirmative action for women as ministers, as well as 20% for women as commissioners in states. Now, they voted to support independent candidacy during elections and voted to change the name of the Nigeria Police Force, and also voted to support single term for president and governors.
Well, senators voted to support the separation of the Office of Attorney General of the Federation from that of the Minister of Justice, and also approved a time limit for pre-election matters to be resolved in courts. These issues addressed by the National Assembly has been generating a lot of buzz and, of course, reactions from Nigerians.
Right now, we have a constitutional lawyer, Olanrewaju Ajanaku, with us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
It's nice to have you join us right now.
Good to be here.
Now, I know you've been following this development all the while, but first of all, let me ask, before now, a lot of Nigerians were calling for restructuring. Restructuring became very popular one way or the other, even though some people said, well, I don't understand what nature of restructuring people want.
Yeah.
Well, however way they want to politicize this is different. But the move by the National Assembly, is it really a response to the call for restructuring, really?
Well, yes. As you have observed, and as majority of the people have observed, that the National Assembly, together with the House of Representatives, made sweeping alterations to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as initially amended, and to be as particularly making reference to what you said about the issue of restructuring, to ensure that indeed principal members of where revenue is being derived from, or revenues are derived from, gets substantial parts of the revenue from their particular places. But then, what people were actually agitating for, and what that they are calling restructuring, is actually true federalism. Okay. True federalism will entail you, as it was before now, that when you have getting resources from your area, you have control over what you get from your area. You get a certain percentage of what you get from your area. You are able to annex that, and then you pay certain percentage to the federal units. But then, in the issue of this federal nature, we have evolved to a state that we are in now, where the federal government now controls the resources obtainable from certain areas. And people are saying, look, devolve the powers. Let us not particularly regionalize it, but let us go to a situation where we have a say in what comes out from our area. We need to develop these areas because, as it were, the federal government does not actually do well enough for them. And they are saying, look, but where I say now that the agitations, the expectations have all been dashed now, because the devolving power that they wanted, that the states wanted, has not been given to them. Exactly.
Anyway,
but that is not to say that is all. Mind you, the Senate said no. The House of Reps, their vote was divided. But one way or the other, they still have 2/3 of the say. Now, and what is required will be that of the vote of the National Assembly, that the Senate, and the majority, that's 2/3 of that of the state, of the House of Representatives. But then, all these things that they have done will not become law until they have gone around the House of
Houses of Assembly.
Houses of Assembly. that will, but I want to believe that by the time this gets round to those state houses of assembly, there will be agitations for devolvement of powers back to those states.
All right. Yeah. Does it seem to you like some Nigerians that these lawmakers somehow tweaked these bills to favor them more than Nigerians? So you look at some of those, for example, the one Senate passed that if in case people want to recall lawmakers, they would have to, get permission from the Senate, and of course other ones that seem to favor restructuring were cancelled. Though Senate President has said that they could revisit the devolution of powers bill.
Yes, one thing for sure, we shouldn't shy away from saying it. That one fell short of the expectations of the people. That's the truth. See, if we voted for you to get to the House, either from the National Assembly or the House of Reps, we should also have the power to be able to recall you. But mind you, the Constitution already has made the recall kind of cumbersome. That is cumbersome enough. If people now are able to meet with the cumbersome requirements of a recall, why put another clog in the wheel of the progress of these people in recalling the power they have to vote, that franchise to vote, and the franchise they have to recall? I want to believe that by the time it gets to the state houses of assembly, something will be done. Those state houses of assembly would definitely not succumb to that. They would not approve that. And when that one does not go, because after getting, they must also get 2/3 of the state houses of assembly for it to become law. Now you have that of the Senate, you have that of the House of Reps. Are you sure you are going to get 2/3 of the states in this country to ensure that the bill goes through? It has to go through that.
But
I believe it will. I am not confident.
But are you confident that state assemblies will support?
I am not.
What I'm asking is, some have National Assembly, some have supported state assemblies in getting independent funds, for them to be more buoyant when it comes to getting money. So it's like you're already giving them carrot before taking these bills to them.
So it's like rubbing my back and
so that they will be susceptible to whatever bills brought to them.
Let us be very frank and let us be very sincere with ourselves. We are not talking of an assembly of 1967 or 1970 or so. No, this is 2017. These people are intelligent. You dangle the carrot before them, they'll take the carrot, eat it, swallow, drink water on top of it, and nothing will happen. Look, the wishes of the people are what the state houses of assembly are there to do. They are there to implement certain programs that they brought up while campaigning. And I am sure that you don't dangle any carrot, no matter how big or how fascinating it might look, and these people will only catch that flame. They will get it. But be rest assured that what they are going to do, don't forget that there will be an assemblage of other people. They have inputs into the things that will even come up in the state houses of assembly. At the end of the day, you find that dangling of the carrot would not necessarily mean getting what they actually wanted to do in the first place.
Okay. Now, if we have to, when this bill eventually passes to the houses of assembly, the House of Assembly in considering the bill that has been passed from the National Assembly, do they have to go clause by clause again, or it is just the issue of resolving to adopt all in the whole? How would the process go down?
No, where the debate is in the respective states houses of assembly. It's not you just passing it down, because their assent, their contribution actually will be needed in passing the bill. Well, yes, the Senate really deliberated upon same and passed. The House of Reps deliberated on it and passed. You don't just expect the state houses of assembly to just pass it. No, they will also deliberate on it, and they will also have comments on what they have approved and what they have refused to assent to. Now, if they have not, they have to give their reasons. And if the Senate and the House of Reps don't get 2/3 of the majority of the 36 states House of Assembly, I'm sorry, that bill will not scale through. You must get, it's a mandatory condition, 2/3. If it doesn't get to 2/3, it will not fly.
All right, let's look at the Senate voting for the removal of state independent electoral commissions from the Constitution, and then House of Reps voting that it's retained in it. So what do we look at now? Since the National Assemblies are divided on this, if it gets to the states' assemblies, how will it be decided?
One way or the other, the law is that that the Senate, the House of Reps, and the state houses of assembly must agree. They must agree. You see, we will realize that when the House of Reps members were deliberating on these bills, many of them, so sorry to say, didn't actually have the full grasp of what these laws really, the bills really entail. It was kind of following the bandwagon. So my friend here, you are just beside me, you voted for, if you have voted, I should follow, I should keep on to what you have done. That's exactly what happened. We also saw a situation where Honorable Dogara was actually trying to now explain to them. It's appalling. At that point, they have not been able to sit down to consider this business on their own before coming to vote in respect of sin. So, you see, if now that you have, it's not going to be a stalemate. No. If the Senate has passed same and the House of Reps has not done so, and you don't also get 2/3 of the majority of the states as House of Assembly voting for same, it will not pass through. Even if you have 2/3 of the states, of the state houses of assembly, and you have majority of the of the Senate, but you don't have that of the House of Reps, it will not go through.
Yeah, but
the three arms, the three chambers must.
But even in the first place,
yes,
because the National Assembly, they are supposed, since we have a bicameral legislation, they they even need to agree in the first place before these bills are sent to the State House of Assembly.
Exactly.
Now, on the bills that they don't have agreement, will those particular bills be sent to the Assembly?
No, they will see. They ought to, like you have rightly stated, because of the bicameral nature of our system, they ought to agree. But if they have not agreed on same and they still send, be rest assured that it has failed from the beginning. You are only you can't place something on nothing. Right from the beginning, the thing has failed. You are just sending it for, I don't know, for them to just look at.
And that's why,
failure.
Yeah, many are asking really that did these lawmakers ever consult with their constituents before voting on those 33 bills?
Apparently so. Apparently not so. They have not. I don't believe that they have actually consulted. You need to consult widely. You need to consult all your constituents indeed. You get their opinions. You don't just say, because you could be an engineer and might not be versatile or have the know-how on how these things are done, or particularly in respect of matters relating to your constituents. You could have these people that are an issue of revenue being derived from particular states who are not being impoverished because they are not being taken care of. Exactly. People don't want to call it resource control. Resource control brings anger. It brings, yes.
Indeed, that's why they were against it.
So you see that I didn't want to mention resource control too, so that I don't want to raise emotions. But the thing is, you need to consult your people. It is what your people say to you that will bring to the fore, bring to the assembly to discuss. So, but without you getting that, whose mandate are you trying to push forward? You must consult with your people.
It's all right. Now, in all of these bills that have been put together by the National Assembly, if we assume or create a scenario where all of them sent to the Houses of Assembly, gets a 2/3 majority, and they are returned back and the Constitution stands amended, how would it contribute to making Nigerians happy or satisfy the call for restructuring of the country?
Well, yes. Yes, in a way. You see, what the bills are still bills as they were, as we have them now. But basically what we are looking for is a way where Nigeria will be a better place to live in. People have been hammering so much on the issue of devolution of powers and all that. Well, that one is great. That is actually the secret area where we're talking about power to the respective states. And apart from that, we're also looking at the issue of the Land Use Act. One says scrape, another one says no, let us
the
retain
lawmakers
it.
are very loud on that.
Do you understand? But there must be an agreement between the House of the Senate and the House of Reps. If there is no agreement, it will remain the way it is until there is a consensus. But then, I want to believe personally that it's high time the issue of the Land Use Act was revoked, was removed from the Constitution. Because at that point in time, when it was the decree was made for the Land Use Act, it was for certain people to ensure that they have a good grasp or had an advantage over others in getting land for what they wanted to do. We all know the story, but it's not, there's no need bringing it up to the fore now. But the way we are now, the society is now dynamic. We should be able to have good access to land, to be able to do things that we need to do, and not have any clog on our way in getting these things done. But by and large, what they have done is for the betterment of the people, but at the same time, because of this euphoria of saying, oh, very good, they have at the same time carried advantage to themselves.
I was about to say that.
Issue of money, issue of somebody being in the
Council of
States and all that. They have so
the recall clause.
Exactly, just to favor them. But they have forgotten that whatever you are doing, it's not just for you and you alone. It has to be for the general, for the entire people of this country. Why do you want immunity? If your hands are clean, if you are there for the purpose of ensuring that laws are made and that whatever has been passed as law is followed, stricto sensu. Why are you calling for immunity? Do you want to come to the house and begin to abuse people? Do you want to manage the house with reckless abandon? It should not be so. Come there, do what is needful, and you won't have any need for any immunity. Place your hands on the table. Let people see that your hands are clean. Don't soil your hands with dirty contracts, you know, and procedure and all things that are not what. But come there, do the needful, and it shall be well with you.
All right, thank you very much for your analysis. Olariwaju Ajonaku, you're a constitutional lawyer. Thank you for analyzing the amendments for us
It's a pleasure
by the National
being here.
Assembly.